We are here today to do shadow work for the root chakra, which we talked about 2 weeks ago, and just a little bit of an overview reminder. The first chakra in the system is going to be called our root chakra, and it is located at the base of our spine, around our tailbone perineum region, basically at the base of our torso trunk. And it is red, that's the color for it, and it is all about our relation to the world, our survival instincts, getting our basic needs for survival, as well as feelings associated with safety, security, and general resources. It is the chakra of Earth, and so it's going to be associated with the Earth signs, Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn, as well as those more earthy connotations for our life and the elements in general. The idea behind shadow work for the root chakra is going to be about looking inward, tapping into our root chakra, seeing what types of emotions, thoughts, images, experiences, traumas might be hopefully great sequence. That the object is to get you to tap into the root chakra, as well as move around and stir the energy in that chakra as a means to bring it up toward our conscious surface, so that we can really objectively and mindfully look through what's going on in our root and how that affects our lives. So the first thing I want to do, as always, is going to be breath awareness, followed by 4 square breath, and then we'll move into the yoga sequence. For this practice, you can use props at any time. I have here a blanket, a pillow, and a block. Any of those can be helpful. The blanket and the pillow are all about helping elevate your hips a little bit above your feet to give you a little bit more space and room to sit more comfortably on the ground. The block is to help bring the floor up to you. Say in forward fold and downward facing dog, it can help to have a block to bring the floor a little bit closer to you, so that you feel more secure in the pose. If you don't have a block, you're welcome to use books. Nice heavy textbooks are always an option. So I'll have us begin sitting on our mat, cross-legged, in easy pose. As we prepare for our breath awareness and grounding, I have you bring your hands to the tops of your thighs, sitting nice and tall, as if you're being drawn from the top of your head all the way down to your tailbone, with the string lifting up and straightening the spine nice and tall, or whatever feels most comfortable. And I also invite you to either close your eyes or softly of your breath as it flows in through your nose, down through your chest, into your belly, and returns to the space around you. We're not looking to control the breath at this moment, just feeling it and the sensations within our body, within ourself. If thoughts come into your head, that's perfectly fine. Just let them float on by, if possible, drawing your attention back to your breath. Noticing the pace and rhythm of your breath as it sinks to your heartbeat, forming the seed of life within you, within everyone. Is your breath shallow and rapid, or is it deep and sustaining? The spectrum of our breath is valid no matter where we are on it. And we attach no judgment to what our breath and heartbeat is doing in this moment. When you're ready, we'll begin our 4-part square breath. We're going to inhale for 4, 2, 3, 4, holding at the top, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, pausing at the bottom, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4. One more round. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Holding at the bottom one last time. 2, 3, 4. And then releasing the 4-part breath, returning our attention to our regular breath, releasing control of it, noticing any changes to it. Before we close out our meditation and our grounding and prepare for our shadow work, we're going to slowly bring our hands, palms together in front of our chest. We're going to take 3 cleansing breaths, inhaling deeply through our nose and exhaling through our mouth in a loud, audible sigh. Right, inhale and exhale through the mouth. 2 more rounds. Inhale. And exhale. Final round. Inhale. And exhale. When you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes or refocus your gaze as we prepare for our yoga sequence. I'll have us begin as we did with our meditation in easy pose. And we can bring our hands either back down to our thighs, either in calming mudra. So that's where you put your thumbs inward, curl your fingers over, or you can plug in to the earth, like you're giving peace signs and plugging into the earth. And we're just going to slowly take a few breaths here, engaging our Mula Bandha or our root lock. It'll feel like this slow drawing in from the earth as we breathe and exhale. Kind of like very subtle Kegel exercises. Not quite the same thing, but it just feels like this small little pull upwards. Then we just kind of naturally do it as we breathe. And for every pose in this sequence, we're going to I recommend and offer the mantra root in, rise, as a way to connect and focus our energy on our root chakra and really feeling what is in there. What kind of images, what kind of emotions, what kind of thoughts are being pulled up as we turn inward, rooting in, and allowing that energy to slowly rise to the surface. And focusing in on delving deep into that root chakra. Taking 3 to 5 slow, deep breaths. And if you choose to chant the mantra either to yourself or out loud, using it as a vehicle to tap into your first chakra. Root in, rise. Root in, rise. Root in, rise. And when you're ready, I'll have you shift your feet slightly outward, coming into butterfly. And we'll do the same thing again, if you so choose. And this time I'm going to do calming fingers, mudra. Root in, rise. Root in, rise. Bringing my attention to my root chakra. Using my intuition to listen and visualize any messages that area has for me. And when you're ready, we'll have you, if you're sitting on a blanket or a pillow, we'll have you move it over to one side. As we come into tabletop, with our wrists under our shoulders, our knees under our hips. We're going to lay our feet flat and slowly melt our hips backwards. If you need to, you can adjust your stance a little bit wider to accommodate your body. And we're just going to walk our hands slowly out in front of us, coming into child's pose. And if you'd like, you can always put a blanket or a block under your forehead for a little bit of added stability. And if you'd like, taking those deep 3 to 5 breaths, using the mantra to connect to the root chakra. From here, we'll slowly lift our hips forward, walking our knees back together, arms still out in front of us. As we lean our torso forward, shifting down, laying our body all the way down onto our mat with our hands on either side of our chest. We're going to lift our torso up, shining our heart space forward, coming into cobra. If this is a little too intense, you can always do a little bit smaller cobras. It's all about listening to your body and what you need. Taking your breaths. Listening to your inner wisdom. And then when you're ready, slowly melting down all the way as we tuck our feet, lifting our torso and body back through tabletop, lifting our hips, coming into downward facing dog, and adjusting our stance as needed, walking either your hands or your feet in a little bit to accommodate your body. If you need to, you can pedal your feet just a little bit, waking up the calves. And then when you're ready, settling into downward facing dog for your mantras.
How she does it.
And then when you're ready, we're going to shift our gaze in between our hands and slowly walk our feet up toward the top of the mat, arriving in forward fold. And as always, make sure that you adjust your stance to accommodate your body. Here is a great place for a block. If you need to bring up the floor a little bit higher, you can put the block in front of you where your hands might normally be trying to reach for the floor. If you need to, you can always do it a little bit higher, or you can do it higher still. Whatever allows you to really engage in this forward fold. Settling into this forward fold, returning to your mantras. ready, we're going to slowly lift our spine, gently rolling the spine up, rolling the shoulders up and back, arriving in our mountain pose. The poses that tend to engage the root chakra the most are going to be standing poses, because that is where you get your foundation and your stability in most of your poses, most of the standing poses anyway. And mountain pose is going to be the one that really leans into that earthy root energy. And when you're ready, if you have a little bit wider mountain pose as I do, and have you step your feet slightly closer together so that they're a little bit more directly under your hips. And we're going to do a little bit of a flowing sequence to just generate the heat, to start stirring and lifting that energy from the root chakra up toward our crown, so that we can be more aware, consciously aware of what's going on within our body. And have us bring our hands outwards, lifting up the chest, drawing up through the crown, beginning with mountain pose. We're going to slowly raise our arms up overhead, making sure that you don't hit any fans or lights that are up above you. We're going to bring our arms slightly down as we bend down, lifting up, sitting back, coming into chair or fierce pose. And then lifting and standing up once more. Bringing the arms around, sitting back, coming into our fierce pose. And then releasing. We'll do that one more time. Lifting the chest, bringing the arms back, sitting back and down, fierce pose. And then release. Releasing the arms back down, coming into mountain one last time. I'm going to have you move your feet out just a tiny bit, widening your stance just ever so slightly. As we bring our arms up, we're going to slowly draw down, if possible, coming into garland pose or squat. Your heels do not have to be touching the ground. And I may step back just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. What I'm doing is basically just coming into a squat, and here, if you need a little bit extra balance and support, you can use a block or books to just give you a little bit added stability for your pose. Returning to the mantra if you so choose. And then when you're ready, we'll bring our hands down, walking forward a little bit so that we can gently set our knees on the ground. Bring our feet over to the side as we arrive in staff pose with our feet out in front of us. If you need a little bit extra lift, you can use the blanket or the pillow. I'll give you an idea. Just something to help lift and elevate your hips just a little bit more so that you can sit up a little bit straighter. If you can tell, when I put the blanket under me, my back is just a little bit straighter than it was previously. And we're just going to have our toes flexed with our hands on our legs. And then when you're ready, we'll have you lift arms overhead as we slowly reach toward our feet. If your hands don't touch, that's perfectly fine. All bodies are different. And then we'll float our hands wherever they reach on our legs. As we come into our great lock, which engages the 3 major locks in the body. Focusing on our mantra and our root chakra. Building heat to try to break through that energy, releasing it so that we can work through it with our logical mind, if we so choose. And when you're ready, we'll slowly walk our hands back up. We're going to walk our seat forward. Show you this way. Tilting our legs, rolling ourselves down to the mat. Bringing our feet just behind our seat, arms parallel to our body. We're going to prepare for bridge pose, lifting our hips, putting the weight on our shoulders for stability, breathing through the pose, focusing on our mantra. Contracting our glutes. Slowly releasing down, back onto the mat. Walking our feet out in front of us as we prepare for knees to chest. Drawing the left leg in first, catching the knee, pulling the leg tightly into the chest and abdomen. Focusing on our mantra and our root chakra. Releasing the left leg back to the floor, lifting right leg, catching the knee, drawing the right leg into the chest and abdomen. Remembering to breathe. Releasing the right leg, walking or floating both feet up, catching both knees, giving ourselves a hug. And slowly releasing the legs, lifting them up toward the ceiling, catching the outsides of the feet, coming into happy baby pose. Our final pose before we come into Shavasana. And when you're prepared, releasing the legs down and finding your comfortable Shavasana pose, whether that's in traditional Shavasana with your legs and arms next to your body and outstretched, or if you would like to roll onto your right side using a pillow under your head, maybe a blanket under your knees, whatever feels right for your Shavasana. As we prepare to integrate our shadow work and our yoga work. Bringing our awareness once more to our breath. I invite you once more to close your eyes or soften your gaze as we work to incorporate our chakra work and our shadow work of the day. And when you're ready, I invite you to imagine yourself walking through a dark, moonlit forest, holding a lantern in your right hand, seeing the moonlight dapple the forest floor, feeling the rugged path under your feet, hearing the sounds of the quiet forest as you slowly begin walking uphill on your trail. Walking past boulders and jagged rocks until you come to a landing on the side of your mountain. And on that landing, you see the entrance of a cave. And you move toward it, using the light from your lantern to slowly illuminate the cave walls as you travel deeper and deeper into the earth, deep within yourself. Slowly navigating the tunnel, moving past rocks and outcroppings, noticing the size of the cave, if it's small and narrow or wide and vast. Noticing the sides of the cave walls and how the light from your lantern bounces and reflects back off the cave walls, creating shadows of dancing light as you move deeper and deeper still. And as you begin your descent, you notice glimmers of little red sparkles reflecting back from the sides of your cave walls, dancing in the light from your lantern. And as you move closer, you notice that the cave walls are filled with beautiful deep red crystals glittering in the light of your lantern. And as you continue your journey through the cave, you notice a large red ruby crystal peeking out from the side of one of your walls. Moving closer, you objectively notice it, what it looks like, what feelings it elicits. Touching it, what does it feel like under your hand? You notice on the ground next to the cave wall a small little hand pick to help you remove this beautiful crystal from the cave wall. And as you slowly begin to chip away at the stone around the crystal, begin to slowly release and remove the crystal from its facet inside the cave wall, allowing you to hold it in your hand, feeling its weight and its size, looking closer, deep within the crystal's angles, until you see an image materializing deep within the crystal's facets. What image do you see? What thoughts or emotions come to you at the sight of that image? I invite you now to take that crystal and slowly make your way back out of the cave, moving upward and upward and higher still until you come to the cave entrance and notice that the sun has begun to rise. Covering the mountain and the forest below in radiant golden sunlight. And I invite you to look at your crystal one last time in the daylight. Looking at the image one last time before releasing the crystal, letting it fall away from you, shattering on the ground, releasing that image those thoughts, those emotions into the air in front of you, transforming and transmuting. Has the image changed? Has it remained the same since you've come face to face with it and released it from its casing? And just before the image floats away on the wind, you listen inward for its message to you. And once you've heard the message, I invite you to release the guided meditation, focusing on your breath once more as we return to our body, return to the present moment. Wiggling our fingers and toes, waking up our body as we roll onto our right side and prepare to return to our daily life. When you are ready, have you lift up, returning to a comfortable seat on your mat in easy pose with your hands at heart center. And if your eyes were closed or your gaze softened, I invite you to refocus as we close out our practice. I want to once again thank everyone for watching this video today, for exploring shadow work for the root chakra, and for taking this moment to move forward on your path of self-exploration. The shadow and the flame in me honors and recognizes the light and the darkness within you. Namaste.